Hey there, this is Simon. Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to build a surf retreat. And this whole idea developed after I created a tutorial on how to do custom paneling with in-game objects. And when I did that tutorial, I came up with a couple of decorative ideas of how you could, well, in what setting you could use this paneling. And one of those interior design styles that I used as an example was like a nautical design and kind of beachy, because the paneling that I create with, it's a sign that comes with Snowy Escape. It looks a little bit rough and like a little bit used, like a beach would normally look, and so it kind of felt natural to make a nautical and kind of beachy, put it in that environment. It looked pretty cool, and so I just decided to make an entire build out of this. Right here you see me use the technique for the first time. I will do that many times down the line in this video. And I use it as this kind of textured coating of the walls for the outside, and it adds a lot of character because it looks so weathered. And also, you have an actual like 3D texture, so that's something you wouldn't be able to achieve with plain wallpaper. And therefore I really enjoyed it, and I think it fits perfectly in this environment. And the swatches of the design that I've been using for this include this blue color, this almost teal color that is just perfect for the beach. I just think it mimics the sea, and it is the perfect contrast to the sand. It really is like it's made for this. Really, it has this, it has the perfect beach look, and I love it. And I complemented it with the eco lifestyle wooden beams you see me line up right here, and they have the perfect contrasting color, and everything just gels together very nicely. And that's pretty much how this idea originated. And if you like to do the paneling yourself, as I said, there's a tutorial for this. It's in my shorts section on my YouTube channel. It's also on Instagram. It got a little bit more traction there, but no matter where you check it out, I'll explain the steps in that very short tutorial. All you need is tool mod and Snowy Escape, and simply follow my steps. So I didn't just want to create like a basic beach house, and I was looking for a theme, and I felt like surfing would be a great theme where this wall paneling decor would actually fit very nicely too, because it has a little bit more grungy look. It's not very posh or very polished, so I just thought maybe surfing would be a great idea to incorporate here. However, of course, there is no surfing skill or no surfing function in the game, and we have even Sulani, what is it, Island Paradise? Oh, what's that pack called? Island Adventure? Island Living, oh my god, that one. It didn't even include surfing. It has like, you can get this little boat, and you can sail on it, and you can, I don't know, just swim in the ocean, I guess, but there's no surfing. And what I did to kind of get a little bit of a surfing feel there was include a wall decor item that came with Parenthood, and it's actually skateboards, but I sized them up and I hung them on the wall, and they kind of look like surfboards. I know it's not the right shape, but it was the best I could do, and you see me hang them in a bit, and you will see. I think it gets the job done, and obviously they're not functional because they didn't include surfing in the game. So it may not look like your regular beach house, but it functions as such. It's like your regular Sulani beach house. And but saying that reminds me of something. So Sulani, I think, is based on, don't throw anything at me if I get this wrong, but I think it's Southeast Asian inspired, right? And but I didn't want to, I was going for another vibe. I really wanted this to be a little bit more, I would say, Californian, and that's why I did a different I kind of changed up the landscaping a bit, and I didn't, replicate what is around the lot, and have these very lush plants, these very lush green plants and flowers, but rather keep it a little bit more desaturated. And that's why I went for these grayish stones, grayish rocks, and a couple of weeds, rather kind of have this like a beach grass type of plant, and not so lush and tropical. But as I said, I was going for this more Californian look. Beach Boys, Surfing USA, Point Break, that kind of thing. And yeah, but I don't think it looks like it sticks out from its environment in a bad way. I think it still works pretty fine. You might have noticed that that suddenly there are other plants on the roof. There's grass, there are cacti, and I didn't include the how I placed them there because I will remove that later on. I felt like it was very, very busy on the rooftop, and it really kind of distracted from the entire look, so I just removed them later on. And also wasn't really happy with the colors of the grass. There wasn't really an option in game that I felt would go with a Californian vibe that I was describing earlier. So yeah, that's why I will remove them in a bit. And here, this is something experimental that I did. I wanted to have some planks on the sand, so that I was thinking a little bit logical here, so that at least like when you're entering in the front door, you'd want to keep at least a little bit of sand outside. And the way to do that is, of course, to not go directly from the sand into the house, but have like this little plank section, this little walkway there, where like a little bit of sand would already fall off the shoes or the feet. And this is actually functional, so that's the cool thing about using wall decor for manipulation, and using them in different ways as they were intended to, because I think they do not have any routing attached to them. I'm not an expert on this, and I'm actually not qualified to talk about this, but I think that's what it's called. And because of that, like Sims they won't see them as an obstacle because they are usually on the wall. Sims are not bothered by them, so they won't be in the way because they don't have routing that conflicts with the paths the Sims would go. I hope that makes sense. I hope that's right. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what it is. Anyway, and that's why wall items are the best for this type of manipulation, and they also do not have any function, so they are purely decorative. So there's really nothing that would conflict with a Sims walking through them, or having other objects that are functional intersect with them. So they should still all be functional. Yeah, that's pretty cool about that. Yeah, anyway, in other news, there's a new pack coming up, a game pack, right? Wedding Stories, and it comes with a world, and that for me is pretty much the only draw, because gameplay is really not of interest for me personally, and it seems to be very gameplay focused, which is amazing. I'm very happy for game players to finally get something to do. And but why I would probably or will probably get it in the future is the new world that comes with it. I always wanted a Mediterranean world, and I did use Sulani for Mediterranean builds before, because it's the only ocean setting or beach setting that we have, beach environment that we have, and obviously it doesn't fit. Similar to this, like I'm building a Californian home in a Southeast Asian environment. Building something Mediterranean isn't really perfect to build in Sulani, but that's what I did before. And now with that new world, I think it's Tartosa something. Yeah, that should be really nice for these types of builds. And what I've seen so far is that there might be one ocean lot, but I'm still not very sure if it has has access to the ocean, or if it's just like located at the beach, but it's actually a regular lot, and the part that, you know, goes into the ocean, the beach part, is actually just part of the neighborhood and not part of the lot. Unlike with the lots on Sulani, where the lots have actually access to the ocean. Yeah, we'll see about that. It would be pretty cool if we get that, but it seems like ocean lots are an exclusive function for island living, and I'm not sure if they included that with the new pack, but I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't, if it was just like a regular lot that was located near the beach. And of course, it wouldn't be a typical new pack release if there wasn't a controversy. You've probably heard about it a million times by now and read articles everywhere and Twitter posts and whatnot. And for what it's worth, here are my 2 cents on this whole topic. I just think that the intentions of the Sims team were well meant, but it seems like they really didn't think it through and even think of who they are really going to hurt with the decision of not releasing the pack in Russia. And with the Sims community speaking out against it and everyone just rallying up in support of the Russian Simmers and that they will get the pack eventually, I think it's pretty cool that the Sims community really comes together in these kind of situations, and they really make themselves heard. And I think there will be some sort of consequence or like a result from this action. So I think down the line there will be released as is, with the current cover art that is everywhere that it is being shipped out in the entire world, with some changes. But I think eventually Russian players will be able to get their hands on the pack. And to be honest, I think this whole outcry against this decision is basically the best thing that could have happened for this cause, because now people are actually thinking about these laws in Russia and how they are hurting people and discriminating against people that would not be discriminated against by the law in other countries. So, and it's really shedding a light on that twisted situation there. Now people actually are aware of those circumstances, and it all just came from an ill-fated decision by the Sims team. And now actually people in the Sims community living all around the world are aware of the situation in Russia, and that is really good, and I think what the Sims team wanted to achieve. Maybe not this way, but they did that. Anyway, now because I was talking about this, I skipped a part of this build that I wanted to explain. So I wanted to include a coffee corner and use the Get Together espresso machine for that. And this one needs to be placed on a regular counter. So I didn't want that though. I wanted to have it on a table because it would look nicer in front of a window. And so what I wanted to try out was use the high table that came with University. It also has this nice aqua colored swatch that would have gone perfectly with this kitchen, but it didn't work because counters especially are very sensitive, so if there's anything in the way, Sims won't use it. And so what I then did, I switched out this table that I initially used for, again, the signs that are also used for the paneling outside. So I built a table from that, and because they are wall items, Sims will not complain about them being in the way. They basically don't see them, and yeah, you can use them as a table, and then the counters and thus the espresso machine will remain functional. So yeah, I really like the outcome of this. I hope you saw that just a moment ago. I also showed that the Sim was actually using it, so there's the proof. It works. And I got the coffee corner that I so desperately wanted, and I hardly ever use this coffee machine because it's so big and it needs the coffee grinder, you know, in its vicinity for Sims to, well, be able to make coffee. And it's just so unpractical because both these items need their separate counter space, and it looks, a lot of kitchens don't have the space for that, and even if they have, it looks very weird if you just place it because there's so much space in between the coffee grinder and the espresso machine. It drives me nuts. And well, this way, you know, with this technique that I used earlier there, I was able to place the coffee grinder and the espresso machine very close to each other and still be functional. So yeah, that's kind of a feat. So here we are in an entertainment room with a large screen and some speakers, and I wanted to include a gaming console as well, but I didn't use City Living for this build, so I just placed the, what is it called, Sims Alexa? But the Sims version of an Alexa there in place of the console. But you know, I used the console for the house tour later on, but just so you know, you won't need City Living for this. You need around, I think, 8 packs, 8 to 10 maybe. Check on my gallery, which is my ID there is Taffissimo, and you find the build there, and you obviously see which packs I use there. They're not as many as you might think, and yeah, I try to restrict myself. I always try to do that. Sometimes I'm bad at this, but I think I did okay this time around. Even though I imagined this as a retreat or like a rental home, I did include a little office space here. I don't know, I just like building these. It's pretty nice, nothing really special. But I included 2 sleeping rooms, you know, with bunk beds. So in total, you could actually have 9 Sims living here. So there are those 2 rooms that have bunk beds in them. They hold 3 and 4 Sims respectively, and then there's also like a master bedroom. I still wanted to include that. I don't know how realistic this is. Maybe if you treat this as a resort or a retreat type of house, maybe the owner might live on this floor, and the guests will be living on the floor below and use the bedrooms with the bunk beds. Or maybe this is just a family home and the parents live upstairs and then the 7 children live downstairs. So that's also an option, I guess. Yeah, this bedroom turned out fairly simple. I tried out a couple of options for the headboard there, and this is the one that I ended up with. Just so you know, I try out a couple of things, but I only include the final version of it most of the time. So it usually takes me a little bit longer to figure out a room than you might see in this video. And just so you know, it's not as fast as you might seem. So sometimes I just really think about, you know, new designs and scrap the old ones that I already had there because I didn't like them, and sometimes I'll just let it sit there and come back to it later on. And I wouldn't always include that in the video because it would be too long. It's too long already, I think. So just so you know, it always takes some time to figure out. And this bathroom as well, I changed the size of it again. I used various sinks there, and this is the one that I was okay with. I didn't like it. I wasn't like very happy with it, but it was the one that I hated the least. So I tried out various things, and some of them I didn't like at all in this kind of space. And yeah, this is the one I ended up with. It turned out fine. I'm happy with the end result. And yeah, for this one I really wanted to have the tub in front of the windows. I thought it would be very nice to take a bath there and look over the ocean. And I also tried to make it as private as possible, so you know, guests would not be able to go to that window or to that door on the balcony on the patio. There's actually like I placed another fence so no one will walk there, even though this wouldn't matter. But I know some people like their privacy, and also for the Sims they really like their privacy. So this is one of the bunk bed rooms I was talking about. Here I created another custom desk. I love these. So I used another skateboard. Oh no, this one is actually a snowboard table, but this one came with Snowy Escape. I think again it looks somewhat similar to a surfboard. It's also board. I think we can agree on that. And I think the overall aesthetic of this table is actually kind of fits this environment very well, even though it's not a surfboard, but it still fits. Okay, and I think that's it. There's not much left to decorate, just a few finishing touches and this little bathroom there. If you like this build and this video, like and subscribe and comment down below what's your favorite part of this build. Also, tell me if you're going to use the technique I used for the exterior paneling. You can check out the tutorial for that as a short on my YouTube channel or as a reel on my Instagram. Find this house on my gallery. Stay tuned for the house tour of this build, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.